Beautiful flowering clematis is one of my favorite things, and today we're going to spend some time with that beauty. So I may have gotten into trouble at the garden center again. I've got 2 clematis and then I've got 3 hostas. Now the reason I've got the hostas is because the clematis with their tender roots like to have something growing alongside them. Like I'm going to surround the clematis with the hostas because it protects their very, very tender roots. So I've dug the hole for the clematis first because I want to take care of the clematis and then put the hostas around the clematis. So I've dug the hole and I've put a few handfuls of bone meal in there because bone meal helps to stimulate the root growth of plants. So every time I plant something, I put a couple of handfuls of bone meal in there. You can see from the garden center that these little clematis came with a little bamboo stick, and you know, they've been kind of held to that bamboo stick, and I'm going to leave that there because it helps to keep the plant going in the right direction for you. So I'm going to keep that little guy on there. I also put a lot of water in the hole that I've dug. I fill it with a lot of water right to the top so that when I plant the clematis, the roots are going to be happy because there's a lot of water. The worst thing you can do is have dried out roots. So I fill that hole right up with water. So now my next step is I put either cardboard or brown paper. I just had this brown paper, so I layered it in about 6 different layers because I don't want it to disintegrate too fast, and I hammer it down with these landscape fabric clips. It's just a clip that I hammer and keep. See, you can see I've hammered it down on the edges of the paper so that it stays in place. So you can either use cardboard or paper. There's a couple of reasons I like to use this. First of all, there is a nice protection for the roots of the clematis plant, but also this is going to keep the weeds from invading the clematis plant, and the brown paper also gives nutrients to the soil. So there's a few things that are happening. Now, it does take time to do this, you know, cardboard or paper around plants, but I highly recommend it because it saves me so many hours of weeding throughout the year. So yes, you have to do it when you first plant, but then you're saved hours of weeding later. So I really love it. And then what I do now is I soak the clematis. I mean, when I plant my plants, I pour a lot of water to them so that the water is sitting on the top of the soil almost, because you want to keep them really nourished with water when you first plant them so they don't dry out. And then through their first season, I will really watch over these plants and make sure that they are watered throughout the season and don't dry out, because if they dry out, that's when you lose them. So just a side note with paper and cardboard, I try to make sure that there's no ink on them. Sometimes it's hard, so I'll peel the areas where the ink is off, or very, very little ink, because you just don't want those toxins going into the soil. I also like to put a trellis here because it is going to need a trellis. And I just put one. Clematis just, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, I call it a flowering vine because it just keeps growing. So I'm going to start with a small trellis, but you will have to add on as your clematis grows. And then I just take these little tendrils, I keep an eye on it, and this little tendril, I'm going to wind it around the trellis as the clematis grows so that it can go up and down the trellis. And then you get this beautiful vine with all these gorgeous flowers. So near the clematis, I am going to plant 3 hostas. Now you're going to say, why are they so far away if you have to protect the roots? Well, these roots are being protected by cardboard and paper right now. And this hosta plant is going to grow to about 3 feet in diameter. So it will be perfectly close to the clematis. So until it grows a little bit, I definitely will do some physical protection for the clematis. But right now, at least I'm planting them. And when you plant things, you always want to make sure that you're spacing them properly. Because if I put this hosta over near the clematis, it's going to be too big. So just be careful where you're planting things and make sure you take into consideration how far apart you should have them, because you'll just have to move them later because they'll be too close. Now you can see it's all nestled in there. It's got its trellis. Away we go. It's watered really well. Good job. So planting clematis, one of my favorite things. Enjoying clematis, one of my favorite things. And you have a great day.